Hello everyone and welcome to my Hip Hop Gossip For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Exclusive: the violent aftermath of assault is revealed in Diddy's leaked texts to Cassie. Government released texts from Sean Diddy Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassie denouncing her treatment following a violent confrontation at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles in 2016 have brought him under increased scrutiny. The startling texts come after terrifying surveillance footage of Diddy following and attacking Cassie in a hotel hallway was made public. "I have a thick lip and a black eye. You're tired of believing that what you've done is acceptable," Cassie wrote in a message about the assault's aftermath. "I still have crazy bruising." The severity of the attack is further demonstrated by the following texts: "You get F############################################################################################################################################################################################################################################################################################################################################################################################## and you drag me down the corridor by my hair. I have cuts that are bleeding. You gave me 2 good blows to the head. The confrontation, captured on hotel surveillance cameras in March 2016, depicts a startling scenario in which Diddy, wearing nothing but a towel, throws Cassie to the ground after grabbing her by the neck. Then, while throwing glass vases at her, he kicks her repeatedly and pulls her across the hallway. You constantly want to prove your dominance by knocking me around when you get F# ##### up the wrong way. I'm not a rag doll. Cassie's text message, "I'm someone's child," demonstrated the widening gap between the couple. In 2023, Cassie filed a complaint under the Adult Survivors Act, describing years of sexual and physical abuse. The terms of the settlement are still undisclosed, but the lawsuit was resolved in less than a day. After initially refuting the allegations, Diddy released a video in which he expressed regret for his actions, calling them inexcusable, and said he had subsequently sought therapy. Federal officials are pursuing separate racketeering and sex trafficking charges against Diddy, despite the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office stating that it will not prosecute him because of the length of time that has passed since the incident. Diddy is currently facing a 3-count federal indictment alleging that he organized a wide range of illegal acts, including violent assaults, kidnappings, and sex trafficking. He is being held without bond at the MDC jail in Brooklyn at the moment. It seems like the Diddy story gets more attention every week. Shine and other employees who worked with the billionaire are thinking back on their experiences learning from him. Meanwhile, more and more horrific claims of abuse are being made by Diddy's purported victims. The Bad Boy creator is presently facing a trial in prison in May 2025. However, journalist Teray claims that Diddy's prison circumstances are not as bad as some outsiders might think. Teray believes that the other prisoners have responded favorably to Diddy's popularity. In an episode of his web series, Teray explained the strange events. He informed viewers that the prisoners at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center are actively vying with one another to make Diddy's bed. According to someone who is in the unit that Diddy is not long ago, the reporter wrote, "There are groupies among the inmates who want to do special things for Diddy." According to Teray, there is tension and even jealousy among those who are denied the chance to make the mogul's bed because it is such a major honor. Teray continues by giving additional details regarding Diddy's living situation. The writer claims that Diddy is in a dorm with 20 other males rather than a cell. "This is not a really dangerous part of the prison," he stated. The reporter then provided details about the mogul's overall disposition. The founder of Bad Boy has made it a point to keep spirits high while incarcerated, according to a prison staffer. "He goes around to people and he says smile," Teray clarified. "And he looks you right in the eye and tries to make you smile." On the outside, things have been less cheerful. Mark Agnifilo, Diddy's lawyer, recently attacked the federal government for raiding the mogul's cell. Agnifilo documented what he considered to be outrageous government conduct. In addition, he pointed out that the materials seized during the search on the MDC cell were legally confidential and ought not to have been given to the prosecution. According to Agnifilo, this was done to guarantee that his client would stay incarcerated until the start of his trial the following year. The mogul has already had his $50 million bond request turned down. Prosecutors are allegedly using Sean Diddy Combs' private writings against him, which his defense claims is an outrageous violation of his constitutional rights. Combs is fighting the government tooth and claw. Diddy's lawyers are requesting an urgent evidentiary hearing, claiming that notes confiscated from his jail cell during a raid at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn on October 28 were not only improperly taken, but are currently being used against him. The Fourth, Fifth, and Sixth Amendment rights of Mr. Combs are being violated by this search and seizure. Furthermore, Diddy's attorney Mark Agnifilo stated that the deliberate confiscation of a pretrial detainee's work product and privileged materials, created in advance of the trial, is ludicrous government action that constitutes a substantial violation of due process. The incident happened during a multi-agency sweep that targeted illegal drugs, firearms, and technological devices in an effort to eradicate contraband from federal prisons. According to the Bureau of Prisons, the week-long operation took place at the Brooklyn jail where Diddy is being housed and was a component of an interagency effort by federal and state law enforcement authorities to improve safety. They said that the sweep was planned ahead of time and wasn't started in reaction to any specific danger. Notes that belonged to Diddy were found in his cell during this thorough examination. Although prosecutors acknowledged that they had recovered items that may have contained privileged information, they claimed that a different filter team had analyzed the confiscated documents before trial prosecutors looked through them. Diddy's defense, however, claims that these papers contained information about possible witnesses and defense tactics that were only shared with his legal team. Agnifilo went on to say, "This is a matter of grave concern that, most respectfully, must be addressed immediately." It was never disclosed to the defense that Mr. Combs' notes were taken from his cell, that they were turned over to the U.S. Attorney's Office, and that the trial prosecutors in this case used this information in a filing to keep Mr. Combs in custody, Agnifilo continued. Agnifilo was alluding to the government's claims that the notes included incriminating evidence, such as claims that Diddy bought off Kalena Harper to make a positive statement following a lawsuit brought by fellow Dirty Money member Don Richard against the disgraced entrepreneur. When law enforcement confiscated and turned over these notes to the U.S. Attorney's Office, Diddy's legal team contends that they went too far. Agnifilo stressed that the defense was not notified of the seizure until minutes before midnight on November 15, when the government used the materials to contest Diddy's bail request. There has been a commotion in the defense camp about the trial team's access to these documents, which purport to contain important details of his defense. Agnifilo demanded an urgent hearing and a